Hey, welcome back to Live from Planet Mongo. I'm Tam. This is Jacob. Tonight we're going to be talking about a couple of different reviews of stuff that recently came out. We're going to be discussing Punisher season 2 and the CW shows from Jacob's end. And from my end, we're going to be just talking about we're going to do a quick blurb about Aquaman because there's really not much I can say. Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse and the new Carmen Sandiego cartoon that recently showed up on Netflix. But first, we're going to go over some trailers and new releases that are coming out. First up, we're going to talk about the Nancy Drew trailer. That
Which you are super excited for.
bite me.
I'm pretty sure you actually squealed with joy when we were watching it.
Jacob, I swear to God, I will throw your head into the fucking toilet.
With joy.
God, okay, so I'm currently reading the Nancy Drew comics by Kelly Sue DeConnick. I believe that's the writer, which is a great update to 21st century. They do great things with the character, some new twists, some new turns. The Hardy Boys show up, which okay. I always preferred Nancy Drew over the Hardy Boys. And Nancy herself is a really nice character who is a bit more sarcastic, but she's got like a little bit of a Kim Possible vibe, but Nancy was always kind of the proto Kim Possible anyway. And it's great, and there's a great story. There's a great dark story involved. Murder's always fun. This new movie, however, just it's for kids, so I can't be too harsh on it. It's for kids.
Yeah, we're definitely. They're not trying to hit nostalgia buttons here. I think they're trying to capture a new audience.
Yeah. It's definitely for kids, so I'm not gonna try to be, oh, this is awful. Maybe it'll get kids to read Nancy Drew. Fine, cool.
Because if they want to hit a nostalgia button, we need some more Veronica Mars stuff. All I'm saying.
Veronica Mars would actually be a really nice way to compare Nancy Drew. Veronica Mars is like the modern day Nancy Drew. Granted, I
Very
haven't
much so.
seen much of Veronica Mars, but what I've heard is good.
Think you'd like it.
I probably would. Why haven't I seen it yet?
Hmm.
Isn't that one woman in it? What's her face?
Kristen Bell.
Yes, Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
That's weird because I love her in The Good Place. But anyway,
You'll love her in Veronica Mars. It's a great series.
I'll have to check it out. But
Good.
other than that, it's for kids. I'm not going to go too harshly into it. My only main concern is why do they always go the route of bored female character is kind of a brat until something mysterious shows up? Like why can't they have like, oh, I'm a nice normal girl, I'm having fun in my area, and then murder shows up?
I mean, to be fair though, I think that's how they portray all kids in movies that end up in something like that. Because I mean, think about it, they can never just make it a normal person that has anything happen to them.
I want that normal person that has bad things happen to them by accident.
Well, and so this is my defense on that though. A normal person would investigate a murder. Like,
Are you sure about that?
yeah, a normal person would be like, you know what? I'm just gonna call the police and let them handle this.
I'm gonna write that book and I'm gonna prove you wrong. But anyway,
If Bruce Wayne was a normal billionaire, he would not be dressing in a bondage outfit and fighting crime.
there have been some comics that have played with that aspect actually. I think my favorite
I
one
mean,
I think my favorite one was where Superman and Batman were taken in by like evil versions of the Legion of Superheroes and turned into fascist dictators.
that is a weird. That's one of those ones where you know that they DC came to work on a Monday and had no fucking ideas.
That's actually one of my favorite Superman Batman arcs. I will be completely honest. But anyway, Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped recently. This time we see Peter Parker in London. God, Tom Holland. But we see Peter Parker in London be trying to just have a normal vacay with student vacay. And did I just say the words vacay?
You said the words vacay, and you said students vacay in London like it's a normal thing that normal teenagers do all the time with their high schools.
Didn't you you didn't get that offer? I remember that offer
No,
being a thing
I,
in one of my high schools.
definitely not in my school.
I remember that being a thing in one of my high schools.
I do not remember getting an offer to go to a foreign country. Um,
So,
that would have been cool.
but yeah, but
I still wouldn't have been able to go because my parents were poor, but
yeah,
you know,
I think it was one of those things though where you were like had to take a certain foreign language for X amount of years before you could go.
and it probably cost more than my first car.
Yeah,
It
probably.
wasn't very expensive. It was only $1,700.
Ha.
But that being said,
But that being
that's still a lot of money.
but that being said, I mean, this Peter Parker goes to an elite school for brainiacs anyway, which I take a lot of umbrage with. Uh, uh, Peter Parker should be poor and living
Hey,
out of a box in modern day.
but it could be worse. We could be chasing down the same boring Peter Parker plot lines where he's chasing around Mary Jane and just really not doing a whole lot. And fighting the Sandman. Let's make another movie where he fights the Sandman
You
or
see,
the Green Goblin.
see, you say that, but aside from the Sandman and Green Goblin bits, I would read the shit out of that. But I love Mary Jane Watson anyway. Um. Anyway, so
Mysterio and the Elementals are in this one.
yes, Mysterio and the Elementals are in this one, and
Where Nick Fury makes an appearance. We're finally getting some good off the cuff Marvel content that we've all been craving.
yep. So I have a theory. So Captain Marvel has Skrulls in it to set up her movie before she does her thing in Avengers Endgame, which please God punch Thanos in the face 20 billion times. Um, so Captain Marvel is showing up with Skrulls. What if Nick Fury's a Skrull?
So I'm 100% game on this idea. I also like the idea that they're setting up this transition from the Thanos thing to Secret Invasion.
Yep. So here's my grand theory of all theories that I came up literally 2 minutes before we started this episode. So after
This is a
Avengers,
conspiracy theory, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, after this is a conspiracy theory. So after Avengers Endgame, we get a couple films, and then the next Avengers movie after this one, they're fighting the Skrulls, right? World looks lost. Skrulls unleash their ultimate invention, what turns out to be this weirdly weird portal, and in steps the Fantastic fucking Four.
So in this, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you're gonna be too far off. I think it is gonna be a different setup team. It's gonna be a different team because haven't some of the actors made noises that after like they're kind of tired of doing the Marvel stuff?
Yeah, I think Chris Evans has hinted that he might be leaving, but he might stay on. Chris Hemsworth, I know, wants to stay on as Thor.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Robert Downey Jr. is done though.
Yeah, well, so that's kind of who I was talking about, but I wasn't 100% sure. I know I'd heard some stuff. I think after like the second or third Iron Man movie that he was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, I haven't heard anything official, but he just seems so tired.
Well, it's got to be hard not
Mhm.
only to I imagine now I can't think of the guy's name. Is it Hugh Jackman who played
He was Wolverine.
Wolverine? Well, so when he was doing Wolverine, he talked about like the fact that for it was almost what 9-10 years,
That
he
he's
had to
been
stay
Wolverine.
within like less than 4% of his body fat.
Yeah,
I was like, that's fucking brutal.
it is. And I'll be honest, I'm fine with Robert Downey Jr. leaving before he becomes another Johnny Depp. So,
Okay, but to be fair, I'm gonna say that Robert Downey Jr. is better able, I would imagine, to handle. He's been famous long enough, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And he's already kind of hit rock bottom and then
Uh-huh.
come back up.
Yeah, so has Johnny Depp.
And he had that happen when he was a lot younger. Sorry, I can't talk tonight.
It's fine.
And he had that happen at a lot younger time. I'm not gonna like speculate on someone's life. I'm just saying like I feel like he's a more well put together person.
Probably.
Mentally.
And he's probably a lot more professional about his attitude. But yeah, even watching Spider-Man: Homecoming, I could just tell that he was just he wasn't exactly phoning it in. He was giving it his best, but he just seems so damn tired.
Well, and I imagine he is because so you got all these movies, and then he's got the other stuff he does, and then so then they're also tied to like Comic-Con appearances and interviews, and
Hmm.
then you're back to filming. I'm like, that's got to be a lot.
Yep.
It's gonna be a lot for anybody.
Yep.
But they've set themselves up though to the point where, I mean, the Avengers. Let's be honest. After Thanos, are pretty fucking interchangeable.
Yep. Now that being said, I actually just came up with another idea. Since the Fox Disney merger is so close, I think the next Captain Marvel movie, whatever the inevitable sequel to this Captain Marvel, when that comes out, I think we're going to see Mystique as the villain in the second Captain Marvel film.
That would be cool. I'll be honest. They need if they can get because they have Deadpool now, right?
Hmm.
So if they can get the rest of the X-Men properties under one roof,
Which they will with the Fox merger.
holy shit!
Yeah.
Like,
And the thing is that Mystique is actually was originally a Captain Marvel, or was originally a Miss Marvel villain.
yeah.
So that would be a really nice throwback to the fact that in her early Miss Marvel days, she fought Mystique, and that's actually how Rogue got her powers, like the flight and the super strength and shit like that. She joined them from Miss Marvel.
Well, not only would we have that, I'm also excited about the fact that whether they do Secret Wars. I mean, the Civil War, they never cleared up the fact. I mean, the only reason everyone's not at each other's throats right now in the Marvel Cineverse is because the Thanos thing. So what happens when the Thanos thing goes away? Are they
Hmm.
still fighting?
I don't know. I don't,
And
I
if
don't know.
they have the mutants and the Brotherhood's now involved, I mean, we
Hmm.
could get a good Civil War tie-in.
Well, we already had Civil War. It was Captain
No,
America
okay, but I
3.
don't, I don't, I don't count that. I don't count that.
That wasn't that good. I thought that was a great movie.
That wasn't good.
Another episode for another day. Uh,
Yeah.
let's see. Okay, but yeah, so yeah. So Spidey's going to be tackling Mysterio and the Elementals in Spider-Man: Far From Home. Catch it when it comes out. I'll be honest. I'll probably see it with a resounding meh, and I have a very specific reason for that. But before we get into that, a bit more news. Kingdom Hearts, as of the time of this recording, Kingdom Hearts 3 is only a few days from a North American release, and when that comes out, I am probably ghosting on the entire internet for a few days.
Liar. I mean, after all, it only took 12 years for it to come out.
Shut up.
Um,
So,
so my trailer news really isn't a trailer. It's just some rumors that are floating around that the CW is working on a Lost Boys series.
yeah. Oh yeah. They've accepted a pitch for that or something like that. They're ordering up a pilot.
Okay, well, I need him to cut that the fuck out. Um, here's why. I don't think that they don't make quality shows. I do. I watch a lot of CW shows. My problem with it is I'm a huge Lost Boys fan,
Same.
and everything I like about it are things that the CW will gut and destroy and fill full of teen angst and love triangles.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Um,
That's gonna suck so bad.
it'll be super. Now, here's where they could possibly because there's a Lost Boys comic series out now. I have the trade paperback behind me. It's good. So maybe they do something off of that. That would be kind of cool. The other thing that would be cool would make me shit a brick and smile all the way until 2020 if the entire series followed the Frog Brothers as they hunted vampires around Santa Clara.
Okay, so I have a slight problem. A potential problem. Aren't you afraid that's gonna go the route of Supernatural?
So maybe. Well, no. Because this is why I think they would be okay. The establish what is in the Lost Boys universe is vampires, and it was hinted in the third movie that werewolves might exist. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's never going to be the Frog Brothers kill God.
You hope.
Well, yeah, but just imagine 80s decor, working in a comic shop, and every weekend, or not every weekend, every Friday night, Thursday, whenever they air it, you tune in, and it's the Frog Brothers looking at a new issue of Destroy All Vampires, looking at the boardwalk, trying to like fight a nest or whatever. I mean, I'm sure they'll have like masters and nests, and they'll do like a Buffy setup. I would imagine.
You know.
Remember the first couple of seasons of Buffy?
Yeah. You
It'd
know.
be awesome.
The instant you said comic book, I actually had Beetleborgs flashbacks.
Hey, Those are good flashbacks to have.
3 typical
But the
average
problem
kids.
is, I don't think they'll do that. I think Netflix would do something like that. I feel like the CW will not. It
Right.
won't follow the Frog Brothers. It'll be like a new family or something,
Well-
and it'll.
Well, to be fair, I don't think anyone could replace the 2 Corys either.
No, but I mean, you no.
That I feel like that would be ultimate fail. Rest in peace, Corey Haim.
Well, no, because the movies continued after that.
Yeah, that's true too.
Um,
But they
with
still
the-
have
with
Corey
the original
Feldman.
Frog Brothers. Yeah, but I mean, imagine Corey Feldman making a cameo, teaching like the young brothers to like how to fight vampires.
All right, maybe.
It would be cool.
We'll follow it.
And
We'll
there's-
follow it.
Well, I'm excited for it if it's cool. But this is my problem with it is I have a feeling it's not going to be cool, and it's going to go the route of it'll be like a family or something, and someone's going to fall in love with somebody that's going to wind up being a vampire.
Oh, angsty love triangles. So angsty.
And there's going to be no
Romeo and Juliet.
shirtless, muscle-bound dudes playing saxophones on the beach.
Actually, they might still include that.
Well, I think they have to at this point. And then, so I mean, I guess I can what if I guess the rest of the episode, but until they drop a trailer,
We're not gonna know.
I guess it is what it is. The second thing is Sci-Fi is developing a pilot for a Resident Evil series.
Now that's gonna be interesting, and I'm not the biggest Resident Evil fan. I'll be completely honest. I've always been a much bigger Silent Hill fan, but that could be an interesting series, and they could always go the route that Japan does and have it literally be canon to the games.
Well, I think what's beneficial for it is the fact that Resident Evil, everything that they've done so far is almost better told in an episodic format than in a series of movies.
Oh, that's definitely true. And we all know that the Resident Evil movies are not canon to any of the games.
Well, and they've just released, what is it, the second game just came back out?
Yep, the RE2
Fully
make.
redone.
I have a friend
Yeah,
who's uber excited about that.
It looks really good. I mean, I'll be honest, I was scared shitless of the Resident Evil games back in the day on PlayStation 1, which is crazy considering the fact that the enemies were like blue triangle looking things.
Like I said,
Um,
I've just always been a bigger fan of Silent Hill. That being said, I was not kidding about it possibly being canon to the games because there is a Resident Evil stage musical that is canon to the games. It is
nice.
It is an actual event that happens in the game's universe.
Well, and so what really worries me with the whole thing, though, is the fact that Sci-Fi has been canceling its original series left and right. So I almost don't know if I want to start watching it, knowing
Ooh.
that even if it gets successful, they're probably going to cancel it once it gets expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've canceled everything. Z Nation, The Expanse.
Have they canceled Krypton yet?
So that's another thing. I stopped watching Sci-Fi series because they've been canceling stuff. So I don't even know.
Ooh,
I haven't heard anything.
right.
But it's gotten to the point where Winona Earp, shows like that, shows that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna wait for the series to end because I know that once I get into it,
It's
or
gonna
probably
die.
Really get into it, it's gonna get canceled.
You know what? I don't think it's sci-fi at all. I think it's just you, Jacob. You're cursed.
Yeah. Once I like something, the rest of the world doesn't. No.
Is that what happened to Firefly, Jacob? You got into it and now it's canceled.
You caught me.
Everyone blame Jacob for Firefly.
Aren't they bringing that back in like a cartoon format
I have no idea.
or something? I don't know. I heard some stuff. I don't know if it's true.
Yep.
Internet rumors probably.
So, but yeah, that's it for our trailer segment, I believe. Unless you have anything else to discuss.
I think that was it.
Awesome. So anyway, so I guess we're gonna move on to our movie reviews. Let's get the shit out of the way first. Aquaman.
Your favorite movie of the year?
Ha ha ha! You can die now. Okay. I love James Wan. Let's get that out there now.
Fair.
I absolutely adore James Wan. James Wan is my celebrity crush.
I have it. That's okay. That's a bit farther than I was gonna go. I mean, I have his name on a T-shirt, but I'm not gonna. I'm
uh,
trying to kiss the guy.
I love. It doesn't help that he's actually really cute. But anyway, uh,
Movies, but once again, we're at opposite ends of the spectrum.
but anyway, but I love the Conjuring films. I love his horror stuff. He's a great director. He's a great executive producer. Aquaman. Aquaman. Not like Zatanna. You could do, you've already done work with dolls, dude. Zatanna has a fear of puppets. Work with that.
Okay, but to be fair, I imagine he didn't exactly get like a choice. They weren't like Zatanna or Aquaman. They're like, yo, we're making Aquaman. Here's $1 bajillion. Do you want to do it?
But,
and he, like every normal person, was like, did you say $1 bajillion? Because I'll make anything for $1 bajillion.
But
and then he probably got really excited and started to direct James Wan style, and they're like, no, film. So you need to not do anything to make it interesting. We actually just want to look at a documentary following the shirtless Jason Momoa around. You do that.
Yeah, it really was trying to copy off of Thor, and so one of the things that Jacob and I brought up when we were in our pretense to discussing the Justice League film with that episode, Jason brought up the fact that Aquaman felt more like Thor. So here's the thing, though, and something I noticed while I was watching this: Aquaman in the Justice League film feels like Thor in his own movies.
Yeah, his dialogue is almost like cut and paste.
Right. Well,
if I was Marvel.
Hang on a second. He's got like that bro thing you see in Thor movies. I'm making that specific. Aquaman in his own film acts more like Thor in the Avengers movies, where Thor is a lot more serious, a lot more studious, and generally more straight-laced. It's a very interesting flip perspective. Secondly, funnily enough, Jason Momoa is actually not shirtless as often in this film. But secondly, there are some good scenes. I like the opening to an extent. That really nice cinematography. My problem is there's quite a number of problems I have with this film. Some of the problems I have with this film is that Jason Momoa and whoever is playing Mera, they don't really have a romantic chemistry. There's still chemistry there that could potentially develop into a romantic chemistry, kind of like what you see in Guardians of the Galaxy with Gamora and Peter. But it's not there yet. And the thing is that I feel like they should have gone the route of Guardians of the Galaxy and developed that over several films instead of having a big damn kiss near the end.
Well, okay, but to be fair, I don't think I've ever seen Jason Momoa in anything close to romantic. In most of his roles, he tends to just play a badass.
That's fair.
And it's almost like Tom Hardy level badass of like.
Yeah, but Tom Hardy
super closed off, and I'm gonna murder a bunch of dudes, and if you want to do it later, that's cool. Like that's as far as the romance goes.
But Tom Hardy had much more romantic chemistry with a sentient blob of goo than Aquaman has with Mera in this film.
Dude, I'm just saying.
So I'm just saying.
It's also kind of weird because I when it came to the Aquaman stuff and I was watching the trailers, I don't know who the target audience was because like in the Avengers, it's adults.
Yeah. It's
like all the Marvel stuff, it's adults, and it seems like DC can't really make its mind up.
Except for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so Wonder Woman was a little more adult, but then they like so it's that thing, they take one step forward and 2 steps back. And I imagine with Aquaman, they were like, let's just try, we'll put some adult stuff in here, but most of it's going to be jokes kids can get, and we can't have too much kissing because,
there's also just
got cootie.
There's also just some really weird, awkward scenes. There's one of the Atlantean types in the film, one of the undersea people. They can't breathe in air. They have to have a tank full of water attached to their suits when they go up on the land.
Yeah.
Well, Mera breaks, and Mera's a fucking badass. I would like watch a whole movie of just her. She was great in this film. I will give props to that actress. Mera was awesome. But anyway, she drains the suit by breaking the glass helmet that the guy is wearing. And so he's rushing for water, and he sticks his head in a toilet bowl because that's the only source of water he can find. And my mother and I are just both face palming because it's such a stupid joke.
Nice.
That's now. Spoiler alert. This is my big spoiler moment. There is one scene that I loved in this film that it got great. So Aquaman and Mera have to go to the trench, which is like this deep sea place filled with like devolved mer creatures that will kill you and shit like that. And as they're going there, I turn to my mother and I go, "This has just turned into a horror movie," and it has. There is an entire scene of them fighting off these demonic aquatic creatures, and it just totally James Wan. Like, we've got the build up into intense jump scares, we've got the creepy atmosphere going on, we got this impending sense of doom. It's just beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
How he should have made the entire movie, but you knew he wasn't allowed to.
Basically, yes. And it was just that one scene, but for that one moment, it was like the greatest movie in the world, and then they ruined it.
That blows.
That being said, my other favorite bit of the movie, again, spoilers, when Aquaman goes to find this legendary trident he needs to become uber powerful and claim his kinghood, there is a giant sea creature guarding it.
Of course there is.
Voiced by Julie Andrews.
Nice.
I turned to my mom and I'm like, "That's Julie Andrews." That was great. But yeah, overall, Aquaman was crap. I spoiled the best parts of the film for you. If you want to see it and disappoint yourself, go ahead.
Hey, don't worry. It made money. They'll make another.
Kill me now. I'm looking forward to the Shazam movie. Now, we'll trade off to Jacob here to describe Punisher Season 2. Go.
I'm super excited for the Shazam movie. I want to throw that in there.
Yes.
Shazam is one of my favorite characters, especially I think one of my favorite things about Shazam in the comics is always when other stronger characters criticize him for being a Boy Scout and then find out he's like 11.
Like, he's the ultimate boy. Like, everybody calls Superman the big blue Boy Scout. No, this kid is the actual Boy Scout. He's a literal Boy Scout.
There was I think it was the Justice League cartoon episode, and it was pretty much everyone getting pissed off at Shazam, and then Superman going to have a talk with him and finding out he's a kid, and Superman face palming himself because he's about to chew him out. Or he did chew him out. Like, that was the whole thing. He chewed him out, and then finds out that it's just some 11-year-old fighting evil with him.
Yeah,
being a better person.
Yeah, I think that was. They also did that in the Superman Shazam First Thunder comic. That had a completely different take on it, because Shazam, Billy Batson's friend gets hurt, like actually critically hurt and going to the emergency room,
Yeah.
and Shazam just wrecks shit up. And so when Superman goes to confront him, like, what the fuck happened like this? And Shazam is like, they hurt my best friend, and Superman's so confused and kind of like, wait, is this guy like a pedophile or something? You could just see it in his facial expressions. And Shazam goes, oh, that sounds creepy, let me explain. Transforms into Billy Batson like this, and he starts apologizing, and Superman's like, who did this to you? Like this, just that, he just gets that game face where you realize, oh shit, he has the power to wipe away mountains. And then goes to chew off the wizard that gave Shazam his powers. That was great.
I'm going to go on record right here and say, you heard it here first, Shazam's going to be the best DC movie made in 2019.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. So, until Wonder Woman comes out.
So Shazam's going to be the best DC movie made in 2019.
So.
All right, so let's get into Punisher Season 2 before me and Matt come to blows.
Tam
come to blows.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the fact that it's probably going to be the last season of Punisher. On Netflix, anyway.
Sobs forever. I'm so upset about this. Just
Nothing,
tears running down my face.
nothing set in stone yet, but both the creators and the actors have kind of said like, yeah, we don't. They're like, we're set up for a third season, but because everything else Marvel related is being canceled on Netflix, they're pretty sure they're going to get canceled as well.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, I loved and hated this Punisher series. I loved it because it was a Punisher series. I think they had the perfect guy. I can't think of his name right now as
John
as
Berthel.
playing the Punisher.
John
You know his
Berthel.
name?
Yeah, John Berthel, I believe.
John Bergenthal.
Berthel, something
Yeah.
like that.
The perfect embodiment, I think, of Punisher. Like literally, I mean, yeah, I can't think of anyone better to play him. And if they ever do a Punisher movie, I think they need to have him in it.
Yes.
That being said, what really, and I think what hurt Netflix the most when it came to the Punisher movies was not letting not the Punisher movies, the Punisher series is they never really let the Punisher be the Punisher.
Now, you and I have two different views on the Punisher. I prefer the older days when he first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man, so you're going to have to clarify for me.
Well, so the biggest problem I think I have with it in the first and second season is it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of fist fight, and it's a lot of following other characters around to set the story in a way that it almost makes it feel like they're just trying to fit an hour in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, the whole thing with the Punisher is the fact that he doesn't give a fuck. He kicks ass, he takes names, and he doesn't have a whole host of friends. Most of the people that are on his group are people that owe him something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, I also wasn't a huge fan of the way they kind of played up the military aspect of the whole thing, of his military service, because that was in the series, that was always kind of like a footnote, like that's where he got his training from. But in the Netflix series, they have him constantly hanging out with his Marine buddies, and there's PTSD meetings and stuff like that. And I'm like, I understand why you put this in here storyline wise, but at the same time, that's not really the Punisher.
At the same time, that's something probably I would like to see more often than not.
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is, I had a huge problem with Jigsaw. They made Billy What's-His-Face into Jigsaw. But the thing is, his face wasn't even destroyed. He had, a couple scratches on it and just wore, a crazy-looking mask.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
Yeah, and he was kind of the side. He was the secondary villain to the main villain in the second season.
Mm-hmm.
To the point of where it's is this guy even really a threat? Because he just robbed a couple liquor stores and stuff.
Yeah, that just.
Is this really who the Punisher is gonna go after?
Mm-hmm.
At least give us a real. I don't know. I mean, I get what they're going for, and I also get the fact that it's hard. I think to make a Punisher series that's not gonna be MA. I think the Punisher is always going to be, if you want to do a televised series of it, it's always going to be better suited to a Showtime or an HBO.
Yep, that's true too.
Than it would, you know what I mean? And I get it, Netflix does have a lot of leeway, but if you notice, they really don't dive into super mature stuff because they understand that they have a wide audience and don't want to polarize them one way or the other in a way that Showtime can do with Spartacus.
Yeah. Now, granted, I always preferred a more humanized Punisher anyway. I like the Punisher that is very respectful to, Captain America and Spider-Man and basically shoots Wolverine in the dick every chance he gets.
Well, I mean, he's a very human character. Let's be honest. He has no superpowers. He has guns and traps.
Well, I mean human in the sense of emotions and personality and stuff like that.
I understand what you're saying. And in this, he kind of was that in his dealings with Daredevil. And that's the other thing I was a little upset about is they had him in New York City around the other defenders, but they don't. He doesn't really interact with anyone but Karen Page and Matt Murdock.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Because I'd like to see him I'd like to see him interact with Jessica Jones. That would be gold.
Well, that would have been, to me, that would have been the logical team up because Jessica Jones is a private investigator and he hunts criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like a fight between him and Luke Cage, because Luke Cage is trying to, not only obviously take down the criminals in Harlem, but he's also trying to re-educate them. Whereas the Punisher is just going to go in and clean house, so him and Luke Cage would naturally butt heads.
Yep, that would be interesting.
The same thing with Danny Rand, because Danny Rand now, was working with the Hand.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the Hand was, they were Yakuza, they were triads, they were like people who the Punisher would naturally hunt down in his comics. So, I mean, they were all literally set up where they could have had run-ins with the Punisher, and it just didn't happen.
Yep.
Which I think would have made it a stronger, like his standalone series stronger, because then they would have had more to pull from.
Yeah, I agree. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, why don't you go ahead and continue with your CW shit?
Yeah, I don't have like too much to go into because I think the only shows that are on right now, everything else is kind of on hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
Is The Flash and Green Arrow, which is kind of weird. Oliver Queen isn't Green Arrow right now. His sister Emiko is, and they're in the Glades. And
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Connor Hawk. He was Green Arrow in the comics for a time.
So
seriously?
Have you not heard about the whole CW Connor Hawk thing?
No.
They introduced Connor Hawk in Legends of Tomorrow in an alternate timeline, and
I think I saw that
he's
episode.
like, he ends up being like John Diggle's son.
That sound you hear is me screaming internally.
Yeah. That was because Connor Hawk is one of my more favorite characters. But I mean, to be fair, the whole Arrowverse is already messed up because Roy's gone. Thea, who is Speedy in the show, has left the show at this point. Like, so none of the natural successors to Green Arrow are even around.
Fuck the show, I'm out.
Well, I mean, and that's the problem with any long-running show. And that's honestly the biggest problem I have with CW shows and why I'm worried about them getting the Lost Boys is the fact that it does always turn into like a family drama. And I've talked about that before on the show. I mean, when you have the Flash and marriage counseling, it's weird.
Smallville was better than this.
Yeah, but
particularly in its later season, Smallville was better than this.
I don't understand where it's coming from, or maybe it's how they want their superheroes portrayed, or just the type of content they want to push out. Because if you notice, a lot of CW shows, it does revolve. I mean, even Supernatural now is more about the drama involved in those relationships, the more human relationships, than it is about hunting.
Okay. So here's the thing. If you want to do a family drama featuring DC superheroes, Superman is a good start. Batman is wonderful. The Teen Titans are great for that shit.
I mean, they already have Dynasty, so
yeah, that's true too.
What else right?
I'm just speaking in particular with DC superheroes. You could do Static Shock. That would be a great family drama type series.
Well, and it doesn't even need to be a family drama at that point, because I think it just comes down to the type of show that you want to make. Like, are you making a superhero show about superheroes doing superhero stuff, or about people hunting monsters, or about
but at the same time,
aliens in Roswell, or are you just trying to make the next Vampire Diaries? And I feel like that's what they're trying to recreate that.
But like I said though, when it comes to characters having family drama, if you want to make a superhero family drama, and you want it to be from the DC universe.
The Flash one is so weird. I wish you... I don't even know how to put it in words. I think...
Actually, Flash could work for a family drama if done right, considering the Flash family. But
Well,
but
so his
but
daughter's back now. That's like the whole. That's the current. That's this season's plotline. His
anyway,
daughter's back from the future.
as I was saying, um, but honestly, the new Teen Titans, the '80s new Teen Titans comic book series, was a superhero family drama in
Yeah, but
all the right ways.
DC has its own streaming channel, bro. It ain't giving them that.
Good point. I actually my friend D8. Well, what do you call someone who's more than a friend but not quite a boyfriend?
I believe it's called A Friend with Benefits in 2019.
No, not that. No, friends with benefits has a sexual connotation.
I have no idea then. Urban Dictionary it.
The guy I'm courting. Let's go with that.
The guy. Nice.
He actually saw the Titans show and he has mixed opinions on it. I still need to watch it. But anyway, but geez,
Yeah. So the current Flash, his daughter's back from the future.
not Bart Allen, I might add. Where the fuck is Bart Allen?
Not Bart Allen. A different Earth. They're doing like I think he's on like Earth 2 or something. It's the Bart Allen.
Bart Allen is on Earth? No, don't you mean Jay Garrick?
Oh, never mind. I have no idea where Bart Allen is then. I ain't even trying to find him.
Christ. Bart Allen is like one of my favorite Titans.
Anyway, so
Fuck this shit. I'm going to Young
daughter's back
Justice.
from the future. But it's weird. It's a weird dynamic in the way that she's an adult, but they treat her and she acts on the show like a teenager. And it makes me cringe when I watch it.
I'm gonna cry.
Because it's like, it's kind of weird. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, because the current Flash, like the actors playing them aren't old enough to even have a teenager, let alone, you know, treat another 20-something-year-old their age as though she was a teenager. And I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And like, when I say teenager, I mean like 13, 14. I'm not talking like late teen. Like, it's a weird thing to watch. And it makes me wonder if maybe, because that's the thing too, like, I don't know, I don't keep track. I know there's websites you can kind of see what kind of views that a lot of TV shows are getting. So I would be kind of interested if maybe, like, if that was the case, that they're trying to appeal now to a younger audience, because maybe the Arrowverse and the CW stuff, DC-wise, maybe the viewership has gone down from what it was.
Oh god, so they're basically Chibiusa eating it. Great.
Yeah, so, but I don't know that. That's me purely speculating, but I have noticed that especially when the long-running TV shows, or shows that are at least a couple seasons in, if the viewership starts to drop, a lot of times we're like, all right, we got to make a really rash decision right now. And let's see if this gimmick works, and they'll, you know, flip it the next season.
Jesus Christ, kill me. Okay.
Hey, on a side note, they brought back Roswell, which was a show that I really liked. They're all adults now. And I think I'm actually going to give that one a chance because it seems like a more interesting version. Or not more interesting, but as far as reboots go, they're doing enough stuff that's new that I'm willing to give it a chance.
So you know how I made a comment earlier about how I wish there was more Animorph stuff coming out because Animorphs is fucking awesome and needs to be returned? Now watch them make an Animorphs TV show on the CW. Because
if
I said
the CW made an Animorphs TV show, no one would actually turn into animals or die. It would. I promise you, it would be about like teenagers in a small town secretly dating aliens.
You just described like 90% of the Marco Axe fanfiction out there. Just saying.
You know what I'm never going to read because I think it's going to give my computer AIDS? That. I don't even know. I did not realize there was Animorph fan fiction out there.
Yep. But yeah. But anyway.
So how much Animorph fan fiction have you written?
I actually haven't written any, thank you very much. So
I can smell the lie.
No, but anyway, so let's end this on some good topics. So we're actually probably going to go over our 1 hour limit, which is great because we wanted longer episodes anyway.
We do.
So Carmen Sandiego dropped on Netflix. And
Nice.
oh my god, I am all for this version of Carmen Sandiego.
Where is Carmen Sandiego?
Okay, so in the classic Carmen Sandiego cartoon, I'm just focusing on the cartoon, not like the games that she was originally starred in or the TV or that TV show. Just the cartoon. She was an Acme detective who became a thief because she was bored. Cool.
That's usually how most thieves get started.
Uh,
Boredom or poverty, one or the other.
In this one, she actually is raised by Vile, which was the evil institute in the original Carmen Sandiego series. And she's raised on their island, which is an academy of evil, and blah blah blah. And she later comes in contact with the character called Player, who is a white hat hacker.
Nice.
And this starts her redemption arc. So this version of Carmen Sandiego is a thief who steals from other thieves. Very much a Robin Hood anti-hero, and I love it. Gina Rodriguez does the voice of Carmen Sandiego. You might recognize her from Jane the Virgin, which I haven't seen.
I didn't know. I haven't seen that either, and I don't have plans to. It doesn't seem like something that's up my alley. But I did see where I guess a lot of people are angry because I guess it got canceled or something.
Yeah, I think they're on their last season or something like that.
Ah.
Which doesn't surprise me because apparently Jane the Virgin was one of the good CW shows. And, you know,
Yeah.
CW can't have quality.
Well, no, CW can, and they've had it before. And I just think the problem is when one show starts doing very well on the CW, they have a bad tendency to try to make every show like that one show to see if they can recreate that magic. You know what I mean? Or if they can get that like, oh, fans of Vampire Diaries might like Supernatural if we make Supernatural more like Vampire Diaries. Or you know what I mean? Not that they did. I'm just saying like it seems to be that's kind of their bag because a lot of their shows take away the superpowers and everything else. They can be almost interchangeable at times.
Yep. But anyway, going back to that. One really great moment in like the first couple episodes of this version of Carmen Sandiego is Carmen is in an elevator on the Academy. She is trying to steal some information so that she can go steal items back. And she bumps into their bookkeeper, who is voiced by the original Carmen Sandiego.
Very nice.
So, the original Carmen Sandiego goes, if you want to follow in my shoes, dear, you have to, something, something, something. Basically, this indication that the original Carmen Sandiego is passing the torch to the new Carmen Sandiego. So, but when Carmen needs to escape from the place, she decides to impersonate the bookkeeper, knocks out the bookkeeper, ties her up, and puts her away, and discovers the bookkeeper's red hat and coat.
Very nice.
No, this Carmen Sandiego isn't past the torch. She steals the torch. And I love it. But yeah,
very nice.
The series is great. The first 2 episodes set up Carmen's origin story. And then the rest of the episodes are like she discovers something, she steals it back from the evil bad guys, and she has an Interpol officer on her tail. And of course, since it's an edutainment series, they do an info dump on the educational aspects of whatever place she is going to, which is really nice.
I want to point out that I'll probably end up watching this. I was never the biggest Carmen Sandiego fan. I don't even remember watching a lot of I take that back. I knew a cartoon of it existed when I was a child.
The cartoon was great.
I just don't really remember it too well.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to animated thieves, I think the only one worth their salt is Lupin the Third. And, I feel pretty confident in that.
If this version of Carmen Sandiego were slightly more adult, I would love a crossover with Lupin the Third. That would be awesome.
That would be really awesome. Speaking of Carmen Sandiego, though, because wasn't Kim Possible slightly based off of Carmen Sandiego a bit?
Yeah, slightly. I think they took a lot of her action girls. Like I said, there are a couple of places you could point to as being a proto Kim Possible. Nancy Drew, Get Smart, and Carmen Sandiego are probably chief among them.
Well, to be fair, that kind of ties back to the whole every story's already been told,
Hmm.
everything's. But anyway, aren't they doing like a live action thing of that? I heard
I
something
saw
about.
that. I'm apparently much more open-minded than a lot of other people are about it because every comment I've heard is like, "No, you're ruining my childhood," and I'm like, guys, it's for kids. It's for kids. Suck it up and move on.
Yeah. Well, okay. Remember, dear listeners, this is the same guy that just bitched about a Nancy Drew remake.
I didn't bitch. I said it was for kids. I can't judge it harshly. Remember?
That's fair.
All right. Now let's go into our final big juicy meat of this episode, and this one might actually take a little bit longer. Maybe not really. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I actually saw this sucker twice. Once by myself and the other with my mom. And basically I went to my mom and said, "You have to watch this movie. You will love it. I will pay for your ticket." So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is actually Sony's first animated Spider-Man film. And
Which is surprising when you think about it.
right, right. And I will go ahead and say this. This is perfection when it comes to Spider-Man. This movie. This movie. This movie has ruined all the other Spider-Man films for me. Even Far From Home. Far From Home has not come out yet. I've seen the trailer. I will not see Far From I will see Far From Home and I will go. This just does not compare to Spider-Verse.
You've obviously never seen the 1970s Japanese version of Spider-Man.
Oh, I love that version of Spider-Man actually. But no.
I'm just saying that's the best version. When he literally is dressed in pajamas,
No, but
fighting people.
seriously, this is the Spider-Man film I have been waiting for since I was a kid. Miles Morales is great. Gwen Stacy is great. Peter Parker is great. Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nicolas fucking Cage, is great.
Well, let's be honest. Nicolas Cage is great.
Oh my god. And oh my god, the animation is gorgeous. It has an intentionally low frame rate to make it more like a comic book. It's great. The colors are vibrant. It's beautiful. I could gush about this movie for hours. But plot details. And I'm going to go ahead and place a spoiler warning right here. So if you do not want this movie spoiled for you, turn off this episode. Because I will be spoiling major aspects. There is one major aspect that happens in the first like 20 minutes of
Or
this movie.
don't turn off the episode and save yourself $15 for more in the movie. You know.
No, this movie deserves it. If you could see it in theaters, see it now. Okay, this is your spoiler warning. So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is actually narrated. The first Spider-Man we meet is actually the Peter Parker of that universe, of Miles Morales' universe, voiced by Chris Pine. So, Steve Trevor voices Spider-Man for like 20 seconds. So,
The only Spider-Man I really want to see, and I don't know if he's in this one, I don't think he is, because they never put him in anything, is the Spider-Man that has 4 arms and a spider's face.
that's Man Spider. Anyway, continuing.
That's the one I care about.
Continuing. So he narrates his life, and then it cuts to Miles Morales, because this is obviously Miles' movie. So Miles Morales goes about his day, goes to hang out with his uncle in the underground subway system, because his uncle works there or something like that, and they tag up the place, which is a really nice scene. And Miles gets bitten by his radioactive spider. Yada yada
They're
yada.
everywhere in New York. You gotta watch out for them.
But anyway, he starts developing freaky spider powers and accidentally rips the hair of this girl who is obviously not Gwen Stacy. It's Gwen Stacy. And, shit like that goes down. So he goes back, discovers that there's a dimensional portal machine being built there by the Kingpin. The Kingpin is the villain of this movie, which is weird. And
Kingpin is the best villain. So
true. But anyway, so he witnesses Spider-Man taking on the Prowler, Green Goblin, and Kingpin. Spider-Man saves his life and goes, okay, as soon as I'm done with this shit, as soon as I turn off this shit, I'm going to train you. Spider-Man, why don't you go put on a red shirt? You're not going to last for this one. So Spider-Man tries to do his thing. Everything goes wrong. He's dying. He's dying in the rubble.
very nice.
And he tells Kingpin that what he's looking for can't be found. Whatever. Kingpin kills him.
That's the Kingpin I want to see.
Like straight up, just takes his fist down and boom. We don't see what happens to the body. We don't see the dent in the body, but he basically crushes Peter Parker.
That's a Kingpin thing to do.
Yeah. Spider-Man dies in the first 30 minutes of this movie. I warned you.
Man Spider to step up to the plate.
So anyway, Miles tries to figure things out, and he bumps into another Peter Parker. Turns out that dimensional thing pulled in other Spider-Men from various universes, and now Peter has to team up with Miles Morales has to team up with janky old hobo Spider-Man, and Spider-Gwen plus a couple of other characters in order to stop the Kingpin. It is glorious.
I just need the crossover with Man Spider. Actually, I'll take it a step further. I need a Man Spider versus Man Bat from DC.
That would be cool. But anyway, so this movie is gorgeously animated. My favorite character in this movie, though, has got to be actually nostalgia throwback to your childhood. Aunt May is in this film, voiced by Lily Tomlin.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, there's actually a really great moment with another character that I'm not gonna spoil, but it's hilarious if you know anything about Lily Tomlin. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Okay.
So, because some things deserve to not be spoiled. I just spoiled like the first 30 minutes, so I don't have to spoil anything else. But my favorite character in this movie is Mary Jane Watson Parker. She appears for 2 scenes, and in those 2 scenes, I have gotten the Mary Jane I have always wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie.
Nice.
And there's, oh my god, like the way they animate her is you could tell she's in constant pain because her husband is dead. Her husband's identity has been revealed to the world, and he's dead. You know, and
I get a weird kick out of Spider-Man being dead.
But she has like this really, really strong, silent presence when she's on screen that she is in so much pain, but she is constantly moving forward, and they animate it so beautifully. Just her facial features and her stance and everything that she does, the way she speaks, the way she talks. It is the greatest version of Mary Jane Watson I have seen on screen. And she's in 2 scenes! 2 scenes! And they nailed down a character that in 3 separate versions of Spider-Man they have not nailed down.
Okay. But
I love it. I love it. So that's my gushing of Mary Jane. But all the other characters are really great too. And one of the things I do love is that they actually animate the various different Spider people who eventually show up in different ways. Spider-Man Noir is in obviously black and white noir. Penny Parker is designed to like she stepped out of Sailor Moon. And yes, the animators actually stated that they were inspired by Sailor Moon when doing her character design. And then Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham is in this movie, and he looks like he stepped out of Looney Tunes. It's great.
That's exciting.
It's really great.
So, the thing I think that happens with Spider-Man a lot is the fact that it falls prey to the same thing Conan does, where when they redo it, they literally redo it.
Mm-hmm.
every time.
I will.
Whereas sounds like this, they're like, you know what? Let's do a different thing.
Yeah. And here's the thing too is that I'm so sick and tired of teenage Peter Parker Spider-Man. I am so fucking sick of it.
Hey, I bet you've never seen Peter Parker get bullied while he chases Mary Jane around before he gets superpowers.
You know, fun fact, that actually didn't happen in the comics. It was Liz Allen.
Bet you that never happened.
It actually didn't, technically speaking.
I know. I'm just complaining.
I'm that Spider-Man nerd. I love Spider-Man. But gods damn, this movie features a 40-year-old Peter Parker divorced from his wife, and it makes sense, and they get back together at the end. Spoiler warning. And it's like, God, I've been wanting. This is Spider-Man. This janky old broke dude is Spider-Man.
So here's my question: will they make a sequel?
Yes, sequel's been confirmed. The sequel will actually focus on the Miles Morales Gwen Stacy romance.
Nice.
And Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman in this movie. There's also a spin-off movie in the works called Spider-Women, which will feature Silk, Spider-Gwen, and Jessica Drew, the original Spider-Woman.
I am wondering too if this isn't the new look for Marvel going into the future, if they're not going to be more animated stuff.
Maybe. It's like
because they've been doing a lot more. Just Disney as a whole has been doing a lot more animated. I mean, just look at the Star Wars.
This actually isn't Disney though. This isn't Disney. This isn't Marvel. This is Sony. This is straight up just Sony, and they knocked it out of the park.
But doesn't Disney own Spider-Man?
Nope. They're still in a partnership deal with Sony.
Oh yeah, because Sony put out the last bajillion Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. So this isn't Disney. This isn't Marvel. This is just straight up Sony, and they knocked it out of the park.
Well, see, here's the thing with that though. If you try 9 times, there's a good chance your 10th movie in the Spider-Verse might be decent.
One of the original plans, and I actually do hope they do this in a future movie, there was a plan for a scene to feature all 3 live-action Spider-Men on the same scene, and they were actually going to animate it and have Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland all show up. That didn't go through, unfortunately, because the gag would have been too long. But I kind of hope that they do that in the sequel, because that would be fun.
That would be really interesting. What does Tobey Maguire do now?
I don't care.
Okay, good segue there.
I'm sorry, I do not like Tobey Maguire.
I don't know what he does anymore.
Yeah. We could look it up later.
I will.
But yeah, so Spider-Verse is legitimately the greatest Spider-Man film I have ever seen. And they are doing a sequel, and I can't wait for the sequel, and they are also doing spin-off films, and apparently the sequel is also going to have the Japanese Spider-Man in it.
You don't understand how excited I am for the Japanese Spider-Man.
I've always wished that Marvel would do like a comic book featuring the Japanese Spider-Man or something. He's shown up in a couple of Spider-Man issues.
God. There is it. Okay, do yourselves a favor. Go watch the Spider-Verse movie.
Do it.
And then get on the old intranet, fire up the old AOL dial-up, whatever you got, and look up the 1970s version of the Japanese Spider-Man and just enjoy. Just enjoy the ride.
Yep. So, fun fact, the Japanese Spider-Man is also the reason Power Rangers has giant robots in it.
And if you're wondering how that works, you need to watch it.
Yes. Like, I swear, whoever views our shit is so confused. Like, what the fuck? What did they mean? Spider-Man has a giant robot?
Well, so they're gonna think we're making it up, and they're gonna watch it, and then they're gonna wonder how they've not seen this before.
Right?
Because I think that's what I did the first time I saw it. I was like, how have I not known of this as things existing? Because it had like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, that's 2 more seasons than I would have thought it would have had.
I think it also had like a crossover with Kamen Rider at some point, which means like the Kamen Rider universe is technically part of the Marvel multiverse.
I just want to point out to everyone that there was a lot of really weird 70s and 80s and even early 90s Marvel movies that really got slept on. And just Marvel products in general that got slept on.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of
Um,
which, so here's our interesting tidbit that we might discuss in the future for to end the episode on. What's her face? Who played Beverly in the original Howard the Duck movie?
oh,
Lily
I have
Tompkins? Is
no
that it?
idea.
Is that it? Lily Tompkins, I think.
Um, I think so. Okay, so I thought this was a thing when I brought up the 1980s content. There's also a 1989 version of the Punisher played by where Frank Castle's played by Dolph Lundgren.
Uh, yeah, Lily Tompkins. Yeah, I'm ignoring you. Leah. Oh, Leah Thompson. All right, whatever. Leah Thompson. Whoever she is. Oh yeah, Leah Thompson. That's who it was. But anyway, she has made a pitch. She has made a pitch, and she's going to deliver it to Marvel, or has delivered it tomorrow to Marvel, to revitalize Howard the Duck as a movie.
Well, that's exciting.
Yep, like she is so proud that she played Beverly Switzler in Howard the Duck. She wants to redo the film, and I think she wants to do it animated.
Well, I think Howard the Duck would be good
Hmm.
to get redone. I think it's ripe to get redone. There's a lot of people. I mean, they've kind of hinted at it. It was at the end of what was it? The end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yep.
Had Howard the Duck on there.
Yep, he was in the second movie too.
So yeah, so you know, it seems like they could very much, or at least they're thinking about it enough to tease it.
Yep. So here's the thing. I'm actually a huge fan of Howard the Duck, and he's one of my favorite comic book characters, probably in my top 10 favorite Marvel characters. Just because he's so batshit weird. Like Steve
Well,
Gerber,
I mean,
what were you smoking?
to be fair, he's Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I mean that's his whole shtick. But anyway, that's our little interesting news tidbit that we'll probably hold on to and see if it ever comes to fruition.
Also, if anyone knows where I can watch the 1989 version of The Punisher online, please drop that link in the comments.
But yeah, feel free to share our show with your friends. Tell us how much you love us or hate us. We don't care, so long as we get those viewers. But anyway, that is all for today. Thank you for.
It only took Tam 6 episodes to completely sell out.
Hey, we only have 10 subscribers, so.
That's how we're living. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Nice. Have a nice one. Bye.